Welcome, RFD viewers. This is the 2005 Lotus Elise. First, let's take a look at the exterior. It's important to note that I had my choice of $300,000 McLarens, $200,000 Ferraris, and a bunch of other really interesting exotics. But I chose this. So why was that? Well, just look at it. I didn't see another Lotus Elise the whole time I was driving around Northern California. I saw other 458 Italia Ferraris, I saw other Lamborghinis, but this little Lotus is special. People actually turn and look and go, huh, what is that? This little white Lotus with black wheels really stood out. The fenders are tall, there's a lot of scoops, there's a lot of visual interest. It's a small car, but it sort of reminds me of a Miata with just a little more visual interest. A lot more, actually. Once I figure how the key works here, you'll recognize this 1.8 liter 4-cylinder from the Toyota Celica GTS and the Pontiac Vibe XRS. Ooh. Lotus toss it in the back of this mid-engine layout, and it gives just a little bit extra room to put your bags. A little bit. At 190 horsepower, it's not a lot, but it doesn't weigh a lot either. 1,900 pounds, so 190 horsepower is pretty impressive. There's a bunch of fun, cool diagrams in the back. The vacuum routing for the 2ZZ GE engine, that goes to 2JZ, I guess. And then the emissions description from Lotus Cars Limited. And then my favorite at the top is the 50 kilogram limit for the baggage compartment, if that. Around back, this is a pretty impressive looking car with the 4 round taillights, the low valance coming out of the back. Just a great looking car. Let's take a look at the inside. It's important to note this car has over 80,000 miles on it, so bear in mind when you see some of the wear and tear, it really has had some hard miles put on it over the years. It's such a Spartan interior. Looking at this steering wheel, it really is about as purposeful as it gets. Nothing here is without purpose. From the floorboards that are really just bolted on metal to the incredible seats. I mean, look at that. It's about as thin, and I mean, it's very Spartan, but it gets the job done. You're not going to adjust it, but it is incredibly thin, incredibly supportive, and I really enjoyed it. Once you figure out how to disarm the security system, you start up the 1.8 liter Toyota engine, and you hear a nice little hum. Looking ahead of you, RPMs, miles per hour, what else do you really need? Just look at the rest of this interior. 3 dials, a couple of buttons for your HVAC system, that's it. And I'm not sure the air conditioner really works. Actually has a cord for your iPod, thanks to the Alpine stereo. But everything is so basic. Power windows, I'll demonstrate those in a moment. But everything is just bolted in with purpose, and everything has a place. Look at this center stack here with the gear shift on it. Basically just so you can reach it mounted to the floor. Where's the lock unlock button for the car? Oh, it's down here. Emergency brake? Yeah, it's got one. Listen to this rattle. Every time. And check it out. Power windows. Oh, look at that McLaren. Let's take this Elise out on the Club Sportiva test route. It's impossible to be graceful getting into a Lotus Elise. So now for the all-important question, how does it drive? The quick answer is basically like a Miata, with more power and less weight. Let that sink in. You can't describe this car in terms of understeer or oversteer. It really doesn't have the power on the 1.8 liter to oversteer, but it doesn't understeer either. It's about as neutral a car as I've ever driven. That was so much fun, we went back the other way. You literally hear everything in this car, and you feel it as well. From the bumps in the ground to the rattles to every little surface change on the road, it really just projects everything. You are as close to the car as you can possibly get. It's not incredibly fast in a straight line, but it'll do enough to get you in trouble on the highway. We had some back roads to tackle, but first, breakfast.
Thank you for disembarking this morning. Hello, what can I get for you?
Yeah, can I get number one, please?
Medium size with an orange juice.
Yeah, that'll work.
Number one, medium size with an orange juice. Anything else?
That's good.
Second one, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't look for cup holders. There aren't any. Oddly enough, she didn't think this tiny little Lotus seemed that out of place at her drive-thru window. That's enough of a break. This is why we came here. This is the route from San Jose, California to Monterey, California, via the long way. We see the Elise in its natural habitat. No, not broken down on the side of the road with a UK electrical failure, next to some curvy-ass roads. At this point, you may be wondering where the top is. Well, it's in the trunk, or the back. It consists of 2 plastic brackets and some material, and that's about it. I took it off, never put it back on. Not easy to get into. Let's try this again. Let's go for a little drive. There were points in this trip where I just sort of looked up, felt the sun on my face, and just loved life. This little Elise will always have a special place on my car list for the rest of my life. Thank you, Lotus. And a special thanks to Club Sportiva for making this all happen.